across the world, but really concentrated pretty strongly in the Pacific Ocean and also the Indian Ocean. They're washing up in May, June, and July, all across the world, but really concentrated pretty strongly in the Pacific Ocean and also the Indian Ocean. So they are well connected to strong earthquakes. We have a lot more data supporting that they are connected to these high magnitude events, and we just had more pop up. Here we can see the news release out of Vietnam. 2-meter oarfish washes up in Da Nang, and this was 2 meters, about 10 kilograms, so probably a juvenile, not a baby, but a juvenile, washed up at the tourist beaches there along the coast of An Hai Ward earlier in the day. So this was, they say, specifically washed up on Wednesday, and that is March 4th. So just a couple days ago, this 2-meter oarfish washed up in Vietnam. Back on the 20th of February, we had the 2 big ones that washed up. And then if we go to the 30th of December, we had this ribbonfish pop up. So this was in Monterey Bay. Here is the ribbonfish. So this is just a baby. They start off small, they get huge, okay? So this isn't a full-grown one, but still, you're not gonna see this at the surface. They don't live there. And it's unknown whether this baby oarfish here, ribbonfish, survived. But you can see it's very closely related to an oarfish in terms of how they look. Here we can see another example of what an oarfish looks like. So they're very closely related. They have very similar feeding patterns, depth, lifestyles, biology, etc. And this was in Monterey Bay, California on the 30th. So this is very similar to what...
If you want to know the price of your coin, just download this app to scan with your phone.
It occurred last year.
You gotta forgive me, that phone call kind of threw me off. It wasn't bad, nothing like that. I my daughter in school and all that. It wasn't a bad phone call, but it just threw me off the scriptures I had lined up. And this is Luke 21:25, definitely. Luke chapter 21, verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth, distress of nation. All right? And upon the earth, distress of nations. So we seeing all the signs upon the earth, distress of nations. All right, we seeing oarfish popping up. All right, we're seeing perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. They speak of tsunamis and earthquakes when these doomsday fish pop up. So we'll see what happens.
2025, let's look at the news here. So we can just go to Google, type in doomsday fish news, and we see our most recent news here reporting on the one in Cabo San Lucas. All right. And then we see Monterey Bay here, reports from January, of course, right? Then we see some reports here from October saying doomsday fish caught in India, I believe. So this is Tamil. Yeah, Indian coast. This was the 7th of October. Well, guess what? We had 2 high magnitude 7 earthquakes in October, specifically on the 10th. We had a magnitude 7.4 that struck the Philippines on the 10th of October and a magnitude 7.6 earthquake that struck Drake Passage on the 10th of October last year. So just 3 days before, a doomsday fish washed up in India. And I'd say the Philippines is fairly close to India in the grand scheme, right? These sort of super high magnitude earthquakes are able to have effects across the globe, really, in terms of these electromagnetic signals. It seems we're not measuring these energies at depth. Like in the abyss, we don't have sensors down there, really. So we don't really know. But we are able to see, are these doomsday...
Exactly. They don't really know. Right, Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 37. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. If heaven above can be measured, the letter J is only 500 years old. His name is not Jehovah, it's Yahweh. The letter is not Jesus, it's Yahweh Shai. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith the Lord. So Yahweh said, because the Lord's name is Yahweh, Yahweh said he would destroy all of the men because the men carry the seed of Yasha'Allah, the seed of the children of God. Right? So that's why they got their deep space programs and they deep sea missions, and they just can't do it. They can't do it.
Fish washing up. Now, if you go further back in time, page 2, we see that we had a bunch of doomsday fish washing up in June and July. So here's one in India there. You're going to see repeats, of course, as different websites cover the same thing. Sri Lanka. And if we go back here to early...
Matthew chapter 24, verse 7. It's when the disciples asked, when we know the time of your coming. Yahweh gave clues. Not one, not two. More clues than Blue's Clues episodes. All right? But what the prophets wrote down for this chapter and for other chapters, Matthew chapter 24, verse 7, and other books and other chapters, other clues. All right? For nation shall rise against nation. We're seeing that all around the world. And kingdom against kingdom. We're seeing that all around the world. And there shall be famines. We're seeing that. All right, it's not just Gaza Strip a year or two ago. Right? And pestilences, we're seeing that. It's not just the 2020 through 2024 or no lockdown thing that people went through. And earthquakes in diverse places. And that's what we're going to continue to see. But these doomsday fish that's been popping out one by one for these past couple, it seemed like every two months a doomsday fish popped up last year. Stefan Burns just spoken of. But now this year, in the season of Pisces, zodiac sign, 2 doomsday fish popped up. In the fish season, or the 2 fish season, or whatever. Just had some fish the other day. Put the bones in it. Matthew chapter 24, verse 8. All these are the beginning of sorrows. So what is really about to take place upon the earth? Everything that the scripture said. That's why you got to get away from this Jesus story and really pay attention to what the scriptures say, because it's speaking of Yahweh. And it's going to be lamentation, mourning and woe.
Earlier June, there was another one that covered the same thing, Sri Lanka. And if we go back here to earlier June, there was another one that was spotted in Tamil Nadu earlier in the year. You see that, June 19th. Well, we had the magnitude 8.8 megaquake that struck Kamchatka, Russia on the 29th of July. The 3rd strongest earthquake in the 21st century, only behind the magnitude 9 Great Sumatra earthquake in December 2004, and then the magnitude 9.1 Great Tohoku earthquake, March of 2011. So we see that there was, sighting surge globally of these doomsday fish back in May and June of 2025. Just look at how many articles are popping up.
Sighting surge of the doomsday fish since May or June of 2020. It's June. Since May or June of 2025. Call on Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai.